When we get to the 11th house, it's the house of, you have status and honor in the 10th house. You're being a career, or not being, but you have that status, honor or dishonor, respect or disrespect, accomplishments you can. But because you have a position in society, because of being in a position, you have certain social resources. You have friends or enemies. You have a social network, or you don't have. This is the 11th house of having friends and people you know that they're not your partners. They're people you meet more or less from career, or other people you just know them and you've shared some things with them. And these are having your friendships. And often when we have friendships, friendships are part of how do we have and use our friendships. Like the 8th is how do we have and use the energy of togetherness. The 11th is how do we have, how much energy do we have for our friends? Okay, now, or how much energy I have for my friends. So this becomes, you can see the having the friends and having the time demands. You have to have friends, you have to spend some time with them. And many times you have the friends, they make networks and connections, they find you jobs you're looking for. So it works kind of both ways. But what friends you have or don't have, this is this area of your chart. Now, one of the things that happens in relationships, each person has their own attitude and their own circumstances around friendships. They have their own friends. And the 8th house is sharing resources. So kind of resources, friends are kind of mutual resources. Each person has their own friends, but in a relationship, how much money is and time is spent on one person's friends or the other person's friends? How many marriages share equally how much energy goes to the husband's friends or to the wife's friends? If the husband boss wants to come home and see the family, but it's a big deal. Wife has to cook everything. It's there traditionally anyways. It sets up that pattern, and the woman's backing up her husband. But if the woman's boss wants to come home, the husband hardly wants to be there. And then she's still going to have to do it. It's not necessarily set the same way. So having different friends, which extends our social circle, so we're not feeling lost. We know a lot of people, we're in touch with things, and we have our relationship. But if you give up your friends for a relationship, oh boy, there's a big struggle there in your functional capacity. But how many relationships will have, I mean, everybody has somewhat single friends, but relationships don't usually invite single friends over for dinner, because it's kind of a threat to the, we're sharing and here's someone that's coming in. It happens, of course it happens, but these are stressful things, and these are very things that can make one person very insecure, one person very threatened, and I don't like your friends, I want my friends, or I don't want to be anywhere. Like whether you're social, whether you're involved, if to both people are very functional, objective, it's going to be easy to solve this and go out in the world and be meeting people and you're gaining teach. But not everybody is that. One person can be very ambitious and the other person can be really security oriented and not want to go out. So the issue of friends and having friends and using friends and partnerships and having partners and using the mutual resources, how many friends can you afford to have in a relationship? And where does the priorities go? This is a challenge between the 11th and the 8th houses. Whereas how many kids you have, the sex you have, the energy you put together, how much does that reinforce each other? Is one person paying too much or doing too much to carry everything? So many struggles. You just have kids, does the husband have to pay? Or if you don't have kids, and what the issues between performance and sharing and trusting, that's 8th to 5th. The 5th to the 2nd house, I have these resources. How much of them do I feel like using the resources I have to express my talents? That's between the 2nd and 5th house. Do I have enough money to perform? I want to perform. I feel great. What have I got? I want to go out looking great. What clothes have I got? You know, like it's those. So each of these areas have a struggle with each other, but that struggle really lets you clarify and see how they work in which area, by where the planets are. You're seeing which area you have accentuated more. When we go further on, we start looking at these in charts. We'll be redoing this and seeing it in more specific ways. Here we're just looking at the theory and seeing these categories. So even with friends, even having personal friends, How much time and how much money do you spend on your own friends? Do you have parties for your friends, or do you expect your friends to have parties, or they come to your house, or you're going to their place? So there's a personal resources of what you want and what you're supposed to have for friends. There's a social thing, what me and my partner, what events, what friends do me and my partner have to both know. You know, so these areas of having and using what you have, we're always thinking about who our friends are, who we have to talk to, who we want to see, who said what, who knows what. That's the having friends. Who pays for what, what's responsible, who's owning what, is this good, is it bad, are we sharing this, are we doing this? This is the having and using our resources. So we can both, do we both go to a holiday, so we can have a holiday, we do without things for a few months, or how we budget. All of this stuff is in the 8th house. Yeah, so our performance, our playfulness, and having, how much do we want to play, how much do we want to form, how good do we feel? So there's these it's a whole wheel, right? And they keep spinning around, so it's hard to stay fixed and just define. We're seeing certain patterns in it, like feelings. We can have extra feelings because we feel secure, but we can also get extra feelings because we get good responses from our partnership. And as it goes below the horizon, we're getting positive reactions to it. It's easy to do something for someone if someone likes what you're doing. If you're being put down for what you're doing by teachers, by parents, or whatever, or by a lover, it's not going to be a lover for long. It's going to be more difficult. Same way we can think, I don't have any money, so I can't go anywhere, do anything. Not necessarily true, but how do you use what you have? And are you content with what you have? So these having and using houses are very distinct. They're very different from the being in the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. It's having and using the 2nd, the 5th, the 8th, and the 11th. So from being a certain energy to having energies because of that, then there's the cadent houses, the third house in each quadrant. And the 3rd house is the cadent. They're either understanding or transforming. 2 of them are really about understanding. 2 of them are about transforming and changing things, making adjustments to one's thinking, figuring something out more, thinking, planning, knowing how to use what you have. So you have a being, you have personal talents, resources, and you're trying to learn how to express yourself, how to use what you have, how to think about what you have to use to put in your practice. So you get up in the morning, you may be tired. Yeah, half your clothes are dirty, half of them are clean, and you're trying to think, well, what am I going to wear today? Okay, I'll wear this. And so you have some resources. You try and choose the best of what you got. Or if it's not an important day, you may choose the worst you got so you can get by with it, so you can save the best for another time. This is what having and using. And by choosing what you have or thinking well about what you have, it sets up the identity that you're going to present to the world or that you're going to project out. So this is you do this all intuitively. But once we project it out into the world, we might go out like a slob feeling fine, and someone else make a comment, and suddenly we get a big complex about it. We're not getting positive feedback. And then people gather together, and someone makes a comment in front of other people, and other people are reacting even more. That's the 11th house coming in of friends, enemies, people gossip of, just peer pressure even. So you put energy out, the peer pressure has judgments about it, you fit in or you don't fit in, and you have status or not. So someone can have a lot of friendships, a lot of peer pressure, but they may not accomplish something. Someone may have appropriate friendships and be able to use them, have the friends and use them well to work and accomplish more and get better positions. So each of these 3 fit together. So I'm just going to go on here so we see the cadent ones. Yeah, in the download section, there's the handouts that has all these slides in a PDF, so you can download those before. You may have done it last week already. Okay. So there's 3 types of understanding or transforming. Well, 2 types of understanding, 2 types of transforming. They're kind of similar thing, but they're making adjustments, and they're transforming. It's kind of the result of the first 2, your identity, your values, having values. Then you try and understand or express based on understanding what you have or don't have. I'm poor, I'm rich, I'm poor, whatever. I can express my identity better, or I might be able to express my identity to compensate for what I don't have, but so that I can still be seen well. So this understanding, who am I? Where am I coming? What do I value? Who am I? our personal common sense comes from this third house. So it's a means that we think, we make sense of the things, and we express our personal feeling. We express our intuitions, our sense of, if we're feeling secure on our IC at home, it's easy to get up and start thinking okay and be projecting your thinking into what you have and figuring out what you're going to use, what you have to put your package together. If you're in a place where there's no good thinking, or there's abuse, or there's, and this is impaired, you can't think properly, everyone's telling you you're not thinking properly, it's hard to use what you have successfully and to feel confident in your own being and your own identity. But this is the house of learning, of studying, there's a lot of keywords that go into this, and we'll deal with these last. I'll give you lists of those, but this is the house of, they say brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, who we learn the most from, we pick up all our prejudices from. It's communications, it's short travels, it's being able to think for yourself. So it's your wit. I like it as your common sense. This makes sense to me, I'm doing this, or how you process, or how you think about things. Not about how you fit in, not the thinking above the horizon. That's social functional thinking. This is thinking about, what have I got, what am I doing, where am I, what? It's our own personal voice going on a very intuitive level. If it's positive, we get very intuitive ideas, and it's easy to write and compose or express ourselves. If it's afflicted, we get complications around this. We're shy, we're afraid to, we're not trying to express ourselves. We feel we can't express ourselves, we don't know enough, other people know better, and and we get insecure, we can have insecurity there. But this is basically the area where you're understanding where you're coming from, the IC, your personal motivations affecting your personal security, your personal motivations affecting your understanding. And your understanding is trying to make sense of what you have and see how you can use what you have. It's trying to figure out how to direct what you have in a better way, or a more comprehensive way. You're trying to learn how to use what you have. So the having and using is the second house. Figuring out, learning how to use it, learning how to use it better, learning how to improve it better, learning how to make it better. That learning is the third house. So studying, learning, writing, expressing, communication, traveling, being able to drive a car, just personal things one can do. And learning how to do that. But really, it's about expressing yourself. Okay. The better you express yourself, the more potential there is. The worse you express yourself, the less you're going to be out and accomplish something in life. But some people have these areas really strongly accentuated, and someone has these things strongly accentuated may not be out having a career or being a doctor or whatever. They might be a teacher or a writer. They can be using their mind in personal ways and getting jobs that reinforce that, but it's not so much a social, functional, prestigious position. It won't matter so much. They want to have life interesting. They want to always be learning new things, how to do things. They want to be able to express themselves. So this is the cadence of the know-how of learning, of common sense, the third house. In the sixth house, okay, no, I'm going to go up to the ninth house. The ninth house is the understanding and transforming of relationships. So in the third house, you're understanding where you're coming from, what you want to express, what your security, and want to express what happened to you. In the ninth house, you're having to understand and adjust the implications of the relationship. Is this fair? Is this not fair? What's right? What's wrong? You're trying to understand who's using what relationships are they really there? Why? Why is it working one way, not the other? It's your morality and principles and your ethics about the relationship.